And our physiology is always reaching out to say, I need to feel safe and trust so I can be vulnerable and I can be in pain without having to defend myself. And this is not an intellectual one. It is a body that says, I can't handle it anymore. And if the society doesn't, in a sense, have the right toolkit to even acknowledge that, then we have problems.
And that's what's so wonderful about polyvagal, that it tells us, okay, it's not just a question of talking. We have to address the different states that the body is in at the time that's locked. Maybe I was this morning in my meditation, as I was thinking of this friend who's suicide, I was just thinking, how could you have accompanied yourself? How could I have taught you something that you could use maybe to accompany yourself? And what came was this meditation again of the three centers, which I usually start at the traditional thing is to start at the abdomen, at the point under the navel. But I felt my intuition was telling me first you have to deal with the heart, with the tremendous grief and fear, pain, and then once you somehow stabilize that, then go to the abdomen and then maybe to the upper part. So that's something we could explore today. In yoga and in Qigong, we talk about these three centers, one at the level of the abdomen, which in tantric yoga, which is not just about sex, it's about energy moving in your body. The same that Qigong is energy, that Qi moving. The one at the abdomen has to do with our relation to ourselves. And the one, and then in polyvagal, of course, it has to do with that tendency to freeze and disassociate when under overwhelming threat. And then the middle one is about our relation to others. So it transcends already that preoccupation with oneself and that relation to oneself, and it goes to us in relation to nature, to other people. And then and that space is a space of opening to love and compassion. And then this one here, which is the other third center in traditional classical yoga, it has to do with the spirit. So when people talk about the self, some practices are about the self in the cave of the heart, which is more like the individual self. And then other practices are about the higher self, or the self that's the consciousness itself, that it's witnessing all the struggles of the individual self, and is our spirit, our deeper spirit. It's like who we really are. I mean, we are spirit, and we take the body, and then we go through a human experience in this body, but we are beyond all our struggles and all that. There is this higher self. And so in terms of polyvagal, do you mainly work, because I know about dorsal vagal and ventral vagal, but somehow it's also connected to this, right? So it's hard.
If we think of it as a hierarchy, you can't get to here unless your body is safe.
Right.
So the ventral vagus is the platform for these higher levels. And this in terms of the way you view the world, including with your students, if their physiology is in a state of threat, they can't get there. Now, if their physiology is not in a state of threat, they potentially can get there. Doesn't mean they're there. So the issue is we first have to stabilize the body to feel safe enough that it becomes the platform, neural platform, upon which these emergent experiences can occur. And society says, stay out of those spiritual realms, keep the body mobilized, because as long as you're mobilized, you can't get spiritual, but you can be highly active and productive in terms of how society defines productivity. But it means you can't be transformative. You can't be who you could potentially be. And that's the dialectic of modern, or the world that we're in. I don't know whether it's always been that way, but certainly it's been that way for a few thousand years. that the ability to feel safe enough to create that platform to reach these other levels has been very challenging.
Right. And that's the practice that I would like to practice today with you, about making that structure. Some thoughts too. I see you're thinking, hearing,
And
a
listening.
lot going.
And
Listening. Okay, so should we do this practice then? So we are going to explore together a meditation that works with three main centers of energy recognized in ancient cultures. And one is at the level of the heart. And of course, we all know that there is something very dear and important there. And often when we feel that we need to somehow hold ourselves, that's the place where our hands naturally go. And if you haven't done it before, just try it now, putting your hands like this. And there are many things that are happening at that moment. Your hands that are usually occupied with the external world are coming back inward, and in itself is already kind of brings your gaze inward. And it has a nurturing touch, safe touch of your own hands to your own body. This would be the first instinctive place where you go, and is where we are going to start the meditation. And then we are going to work with another center that's at the level of our abdomen. If you find your navel and you go 3-finger breath under the navel, there is a acupuncture point there that's called sea of energy. And all that area, those were under the 3 fingers, but also if you just put your hands like you put it at the heart, you put it at the navel, around that, having the center of your palms, which is your healing hands, going to that point that we were talking about, the sea of energy, you probably immediately kind of, or after a few moments, feel the sense of grounding, of safety. And we are going to go to that as the second part of the meditation. And then the third one, the very important center of energy, of course, you also have heard about it, is just at the forehead, a little bit higher than the eyebrows, just here. And that's what's usually called the third eye. So you have your 2 eyes to look at the world, and the third eye to look also inwards. And in anatomy, that is, if you go in from there, is the pituitary gland, which is also the master gland for the functioning of all the other glands that secrete internally, and that have a lot to do with your mood and with your general sense of how everything is functioning. So I want to give you these practices that are very simple and very direct, in the hope that you can use them whenever you want to experience a little bit more of peace in your regular day, or perhaps sometimes when you are feeling particularly troubled. So in my meditation today, as I was thinking about a friend who died this week, I was thinking about her spirit and my spirit, and immediately my hands, of course, also went here. So we are going to start the meditation here. Usually this meditation of the 3 centers, I start at the level of the abdomen, but my intuition today was that if your heart is very troubled, better to start perhaps at this level, at the level of the heart, and do a few deep breaths. So just one more explanation. If you go along your breastbone, more or less at the level of your nipples, you'll find an indentation there. And this point, acupuncture and acupressure point, is called Sea of Tranquility. So we are bringing our healing hands, the center of our palms, to rest there on top of the Sea of Tranquility. And well, this pendant has symbol of Om, also some more tranquility. But you don't need the pendant, just your hands are like the Om. Okay, so we put the hands here and start breathing, inhaling and exhaling like sign. And this time we're going to also combine with a breath that comes from Daoism that's called letting go of the old, taking in the new. So we are going to let go of whatever might be troubling you or limiting you. As we exhale, blowing the air through the mouth, allowing everything to come out without forcing. And then when the time comes to inhale, inhaling through the nose, exhaling. Maybe there is a slight pause and then exhaling a long, slow exhalation through the mouth, letting go of whatever may be making you sad or worried or weighing in your heart, just exhaling. And opening ourselves to new inspiration as we inhale. Exhale through the mouth. And as you have your hands here, creating your heart, experience this sense of safety, resting, loving yourself, having compassion for yourself and your circumstances, and knowing that you, through breathing and relaxing, can shed some of the weight that might be troubling you. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, feeling your chest expanding. Invite a sense of spaciousness. Like if you are the sky and you are blowing gently the clouds that are in that sky. And they are passing and dissolving with every exhalation, slow, long exhalation, which is also helping stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system and your relaxation response. Holding yourself with love. Keep inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Whatever arises is good. As you breathe, you contemplate what arises and what you are experiencing in your body, and you keep relaxing, inviting the sense of relaxation as you exhale, not judging how much I'm relaxing and how much I could be relaxing, just inhaling and exhaling and being present with this process of exhaling, long exhalation without forcing, and inhaling like sigh. So the element associated with this area of the heart and the lungs is spaciousness, air, spaciousness, and the image of you are the sky. Often there are clouds, but they pass as you keep exhaling. And also a sense of love towards yourself and to what is around you, nature, pets, friends, family, whatever helps you to experience a sense of love. First to yourself, you have to put the mask first, as they say in the plane, so that you can take care of others. Having a gentle smile that softens your heart. Holding yourself with love and care. Now we are going to lower one hand or the two hands to the area of the abdomen. So the hands are going to be like this, but just right below your navel. And that's another very major center of energy, recognized in all ancient cultures. And we are going to inhale and exhale, this time feeling a little bit the expansion of the abdomen, even ever so slightly. And if for whatever reason you cannot feel your abdomen very much, I hope you can maybe feel the touch of your hands on your abdomen, gently pressing there. And this area here, at the area of the abdomen, it has to do with our relation to ourselves. And often we are hard on ourselves, or we have self-doubt, or so we are inviting a sense of compassion, of self-acceptance, and of grounding. Whatever ups and downs come in our life, we know that that's part of the package of life. And we invite this sense of grounding, of like a firm earth inside you, like an island of firm grounding within the flow of life. So we inhale and exhale, and with our healing hands, which are at the level of the abdomen like this, we are experiencing a sense of grounding and safety in our relation to ourselves. Allowing ourselves to relax. As we inhale and the air goes down to abdomen, maybe we feel a little bit the expansion of the abdomen. And if not, don't worry, just whatever is happening is perfect, because that's what it is. And then on the exhale, maybe the abdomen comes in a little bit. This is the way that babies breathe in their cot and that pets breathe. It's very relaxing. Inhaling, the abdomen expands a little bit without forcing, naturally. Exhaling, an ever so slight coming in of the abdomen. Feeling maybe this expansion to the front and the sides and the back. And exhaling. Don't worry so much about the movement in the abdomen. Just invite this sense of grounding. As you inhale and exhale. Grounding down through the support that the chair or the floor or the bed is offering you. And especially grounding inwards, being at peace with yourself. No matter what might have happened before, or what things sometimes you tell to yourself about yourself. Know that you have this grounding within yourself. We all do it. We came with it. So it's a question of revisiting it through inhaling and exhaling and being kind to yourself. Just inviting a sense of ease, of acceptance. And that point itself, the sea of energy combined with this breath, is helping you to relax and to be at peace with yourself, a little bit at a time. Just be curious to whatever arises and accept it while you keep breathing. That's a way of integrating your experiences with a sense of peace, some sense of peace and grounding, safety. Maybe a gentle smile, compassion and acceptance for our journey with its many turns. What has brought us to this moment, to this learning to take care of ourselves with gentleness and peace, in as much as we can today. And finally, we go to the third major center of energy, which is this one just a little bit above the eyebrows. We can massage with the right thumb. You can even wet your thumb if you like and just touch that area, so that when you close your eyes and you are breathing and you're bringing the attention there, you are breathing, chest breathing. The hands are like we were before here, the beginning of the meditation. But this time we are bringing the attention to the third eye, gently, without forcing. Can inhale and exhale through the nose, if that's okay for you now. Feeling the inhalation coming up, lifting you in a way, allowing your spine to elongate if that's comfortable for you today. And inviting this sense of light and inner peace, like the light of the moon on a summer night, where there is stillness and there is light in the dark sky of the night, of the summer night. So we can sense the light that illuminates everything, whether it's stone or a pond or a flower, the ocean. Just illuminating everything without judging, without marginalizing or excluding, embracing everything with this sense of stillness and peace. Embracing all of our experiences with this sense of stillness and peace. And again, inhaling like sign, bringing the attention to the third eye gently. And visualizing that light of the moon, the center of your head, and expanding, or above you, if you like, bathing you with this healing, soothing light. This light penetrates and bathes all the cells of your being, illuminating you from inside out. If it is not easy for you to visualize, just breathe and invite a sense of light, inner peace. Maybe remember a moment of inner peace, and maybe a night, a full moon night, or any moonlight. And again, a gentle smile, like if the moon from there is smiling to everything that's illuminating, not selecting anything, just illuminating, embracing everything. And finally, we are going to come to the resonance of the three centers. So coming back to the beginning with this sense of spaciousness, we hold our heart. We could also have the hands like this. If you put your hands like this, your middle fingers will go to 2 points that are here, like forefinger breath down from the clavicular bone. There is a point on each side, more or less like a thumb away from the crevice here that separates or unites your arm with your chest. So this point is a point called letting go. So we can again come back to the beginning where we were with our hands covering our heart and just kind of pointing the middle finger towards the letting go and having a few breaths. Inhaling, and like we were doing before, letting go of the old, letting go of what burdens us. Having a sense of spaciousness and love. Resonating with our sense of grounding, coming from one hand at the abdomen. Grounding and spaciousness. And from this sense of safety, of grounding, and of spaciousness, of love, which in polyvagal would be the dorsal vagal, the area of the abdomen, the one that gets closed when we are overwhelmed by threat, and this one at the heart, which is the ventral vagal, the one that gets excited, but it goes into fight or flight when it gets under threat. From having this sense of safety in both at the area of our abdomen and the area of our heart, we then also open up to this sense of peace and light, bathing us from our spirit, which informs all of our being, and which is really who we are. It's just that often gets covered with clouds. And so just to have the three resonating, the safety and grounding, the openness and love and compassion, oxytocin, all this hormone of love and compassion. And then also the opening and clarity to keep coming back to cultivating ourselves these spaces of peace, of healing. So the old traditions and the most recent discoveries, important discoveries of neuroscience, are telling us the same. Yes, you can. You have in your organism all these possibilities. And yes, it's difficult. We are in very difficult times and going through a lot of trauma, but we can, if we can come back and hold ourselves with care, we can overcome this sense of threat, and also overcome it in community. If you have friends, family, or even teachers that you have encountered during your journey, anything that helps you, your pet, your flowers in your garden, anything, just don't give up. Keep coming back to working with yourself, and you will see a difference. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes recommittance. It takes at the moment when you are about to say, well, no, I can't right now, just take a few deep breaths and work and listen to yourself and feel accompanied by all of us and all the people that have loved you along the way. A little bit every day goes a long way. Thank you so much for practicing together today. It's a great joy to practice with you, and also practice with Steve Porges and Sue Carter today, who are here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I don't have muted.
Thank
You
you.
muted me. So,
I needed it, and you helped me.
yeah. So here is a polyvagal factoid. The agenda is to enable the three parts of the autonomic nervous system to cooperate. It's very similar to what you were describing. And when we are, in a sense, quote, safe, the ventral vagus constrains or choreographs the sympathetic and the dorsal vagus. It optimizes. So rather than being under stress or fight flight, we're playful.
Right.
Rather than being shutting down and with despair, we are safe and we trust. We have moments of intimacy. Our body can be accessible. So it's exactly the same metaphor. It's where the systems, the newer circuits higher up, are regulating the lower ones in collaboration. So.
Right. Thank you. And also they are all pervading, right? I mean, we have this sense of a hierarchy that is here, and it's true. And it's also kind of pervading because it's energy and information. So.
Well, the interesting things about hierarchies is that they are not always able to be constrained from the top down. So if you have, for instance, a gut issue or a trauma issue, it disrupts everything above it.
True. And it can also help everything if we, I think that's also what's so wonderful about all the studies on the vagus nerve that you so much have, help us understand, is that 80% comes from lower to up, from the dorsal vagal and the ventral vagal, and then the brain interprets and sends more hormones to keep fostering that 20%
if the
down.
brain
That's
can
the
be
brain.
If the brain can be self-compassionate,
Right.
But the brain is, in a sense, saying, I don't want you to disrupt me with your feelings. You have other problems.
Right.
But the real interesting part is our body is screaming at us through those pathways, and has through our whole lives. And part of the maturation process, the cultural maturation, has been don't listen to that body.
For
And
that, we work directly with the points and, with the
Yeah.
breath and with everything, hoping that that 80%
Yeah.
that's coming up will somehow also, because it's a dance, right? It's like an
Yeah.
obvious strip,
But
so they are influencing each other. All
my narrative on this is that we live in a world, and the world is threatening and demanding, and we need to know when we need to navigate in that world. But we also need safe places where we can listen to our body without the anticipation of being injured. So,
Right.
so it's not like we have to be open all the time, or yes, and spiritual all the time. We can be very aware that there are times when our body needs to be defended. We need to take care of our body. But in that, we also respect that our body, even when it's defended, needs time to recuperate, to be safe, to be calm.
Yeah. In my understanding, we work so that the spirit is present all the time. I don't know if regardless all the time, but I mean, our time is so short in this world that, the more that we can work little by little and increase the quality of how we experience ourselves, how we optimize our human experience, like you say, which I totally love that idea. And so it's not for just sometimes during the day, it eventually is for all the time in our relationships. But yes, also paying attention what's happening to my nervous system right now, what's happening to the nervous system that's in front of me, how are we dancing this dance. But yeah, so I think we're saying the same with slightly different
There's an interesting nuance that you led, and as a spirit is there all the time. The spirit is there, but at times the spirit has to allow the more primitive structures to do their job, is to be defensive. So it's a type of witnessing within. We witness our bodily needs as well as we witness the world that we're in. We witness, so we listen to our body, and sometimes our body says it's injured. Well, and the spirit says, well, if it's injured, we need to calm the body so it can heal. And we need to protect the body from external threats. And unfortunately, hospitals aren't good for that.
No, definitely not. Listening to the body is the first chapter of this book that I'm writing about discovering the guidance. So, how we, of course, need to move with everything, with all the dimensions of our being. Yeah.
So what I say in the clinical world, what is the message of polyvagal theory? It's listen to your body.
Listen to your body. And work
and then what the theory gives you is a language to explain what you hear.